Scott has been making an outside cat house. Like, he doesn't have anything else to do. Like, seriously. He already went to Lowe's today, and he's building a roof. He really is obsessed with these cats, and I keep telling him, I mean, what if they disappear in a few days? He's like, I don't care. He wants them to be protected. That's very sweet. Good job, Scott! Hey. Scott, have you even seen the kittens today?
Yeah, this morning.
Okay, good, because I haven't seen them at all.
Food, and then I put more food out recently. So.
Oh my gosh, you're spending so much time on this. So you created a little roof thing.
About half the day.
Oh my gosh, well you worked on it, didn't you? You did stuff yesterday too.
No, I didn't do anything yesterday.
So this was an actual thing that we bought for kitty litter. So you would lift this up and you'd put your kitty litter in there, and then the kitties could go in here, but it was just, we had it for a while, but it was kind of big for our house. And I really wanted the kitty litter in our kind of laundry room, and it just did not fit in there. So I said, Scott, why don't we use this? So he did this so that only cats, I hope to God the mom cat can get in there, Scott.
Oh, mom cat can get
Theo
in,
would
sure.
not be able to get in there.
Oh, Theo could get in there.
No, Theo could not get in there.
I'd be surprised.
No, you're gonna have to, you might have to make that bigger.
Well, I can always make it bigger.
Yeah.
It's no problem.
It's okay for kittens, but I think that for a full-grown cat.
I think the mom will get in there fine, but all I have to do is take my jigsaw and cut it higher if I want to. So,
we'll just have to make sure. And
or
then,
make it wider.
so you're just painting, and you cut this board, and you're gonna put a roof
So what
over
I did
there.
is, this thing originally had a thing on top, and I moved it to the bottom here, so that there wouldn't be a gap for, you know, them to be warm in the winter and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I had to fix the hinges. I had to fix
Right, 'cause,
everything.
yeah.
So, and then I used my
Had it for a while.
nail gun to nail everything together again.
Yeah.
And so now I've made this top thing.
Look at you, you're all full of paint.
No, I'm not.
I mean, your hands.
Oh, my hands. So that thing will just set right on top of it. It just actually just sets right on, and there's things that go around it.
Oh,
I
God,
can-
Scott, this is so freaking fancy.
I can either, I may just put a screw in it to keep it from ever blowing away, and then the other side.
But I do think we need to be able to clean it.
This side, yeah.
Inside.
Well, this will open.
Oh, it
so,
will open?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I may just put a little latch here so that it doesn't blow
wind.
away.
You said you bought stuff for the front of this barn to fix?
Yeah, I bought this is over
Because
here.
this has started to like get rotten, so Scott's gonna put new
So I just
siding.
need
Oh, okay,
I
good.
just need to cut these exactly to the
Oh,
size.
and we have
and
to
then I'll
paint
just
them
put
now.
right over
Oh,
it.
okay. All right, that's fine.
But even with that on here, you can still lift it all the way up.
Okay, well,
So if you want to clean
this
out
should be
in here, you
nice.
can get in there. Okay.
So how long have you spent on this today?
Well, I just did this now. I just got this vinyl from David, helped him take this
Oh,
stuff to the
so
trash.
this is like a vinyl, and then you're just
Yeah,
putting it
it's
on top.
It's a heavy, thick vinyl.
Oh, okay.
So this will keep it dry.
And so you
and,
can even have like food up in there so that they can be
Yeah.
protected. And
It's
we can even
actually-
put like a little tray down there
With,
so when you put
hinges,
food.
So you can open it up,
Oh, gosh, Scott,
and we
fancy.
can take things out or put things in.
It's like I was saying, it looks like a chalet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty
Holy cow.
pretty nice. And
Hopefully
they've got
they'll
room on
they'll
top.
like it.
So hopefully they'll like it. We'll see.
I feel like we should probably not stop it, right? It's like comparatively to big, to how big they are. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a sheepdog, but they're related. She is big and big.
Today I'm going to do a practice blocking, and I happen to have this canvas. This is just loose canvas. I don't know, I don't think it's Clausen's portrait, but it's very similar. It's a very similar portrait texture, and I obviously started something on this and, wiped it off, and obviously there was a lot of reds in it. The reason why I'm choosing this is I kind of prepared a whole bunch of boards, different grays, different tones. I'll probably prepare a couple more just to be, a pro. So the reason why is because of this green. And I had blocked in, we're using a gray board, but I had a cool fabric in that green, and it was annoying me. So I thought, well, now I can paint a very, very pretty green on top of that, and I'm gonna see what it looks like. And I've just been arranging, you know, different colors, little notes. Primarily this is going to be, it's not about onions, but it's primarily going to be about that teacup. And so I want to practice that. And let's see, I just put out a whole bunch of different, oh my gosh, I really hate it when my colors run. That particular yellow just has too much oil. I just put a bunch of different convenience. I love all these pastel colors. Yeah, I don't even have a pure brown. I think this is, it's either Terra Rosa or Venetian red. And this is one of those like unbleached whites. I don't know. I got it from somebody, so I'm gonna use it. And that's my view. I do have that orange. That is a pretty bright orange. So I'm gonna see if I paint that orange in there or not. I don't know how I feel about painting on this red. And I'm having one of those days where I feel like, do I really know how to paint? That type of thing. At this point, I'm going to really limit my strokes. So I'm going to think, well, what if I only had 25 minutes, half hour? What are the strokes I would do? I'm leaving the actual detail of the cup to the very end, because there's so much little white shapes in there that I needed to really understand the value of that cup before I did any of that gold design, because I didn't want to have to like change the value, you know, and then repaint all that. So, okay, I'm going to count my strokes and leave it sketchy, leave some of that red showing through. I've been setting up a still life today for my demo tomorrow, and I had gone back and forth and back and forth. Well, would I do single object demos each day and just have them be little sketches on individual canvases, or would I set up something that has like an onion, fruit, a doll, flowers, a teacup, you know, leaves, you know, a variety of things so that I could like focus on one thing in the still life each day. And I kind of decided just to do one big one. I have this canvas, which, gosh, I don't even know. Is this like a 16 by, what is that? I don't even know. I have to bring a bigger thing because it's too big for that. Or else I was thinking about doing a 12 by 24, but I think that's just a little too small. The other thing I've just been debating, oh my gosh, it's just, do I look down on it? I think I like the composition better looking down on it. Plus I want people to realize that looking down on still lifes is a very interesting look. So many of us, like normally we might sit in a chair and look at it this way. And this is fine, but I just think it's better. I think it's a better composition, like the zigzag, the empty spaces in the foreground. And that will be my demo tomorrow. I have all kinds of apples, oranges, and greenery. I like carnations a lot because, first of all, they last forever. And different kinds of carnations. Some of the bigger pom-pom ones, some of the little, you know, the little tiny whatever those are called. Some are open, some are closed. And these would be great for us to be able to cut fresh flowers and put them in the, and I love these just little mini oranges and the little mini apples. It's so fun. So class is starting tomorrow. It's been so long waiting for this to happen. And I have a whole kinds of slideshows and things that I'm gonna show. I just need a bigger easel, and I'm gonna bring my bigger palette. Yep, okay, I gotta go home and get those things together. Today is my second day of my workshop. Of course, the first day of class is always just a whirlwind. You know, you almost lose your voice, your back kills you. Everybody is so sweet though, and I was really looking forward to meeting everybody, and there is nothing like meeting a group of people who show up just so appreciative and happy and excited to learn. Everything's worth it, all the work. So, you know, all the things that I put together, I'm putting out sketches, books, stuff for people to look at. Everybody's set up with their still lifes, and it's amazing. I think people are really, you know, I love just saying one thing to people and then they do it. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So each morning I show kind of slides of master painters, you know, ideas, concepts, because the thing about still life is, you know, sure, we are learning about light, we're learning about how to use the brush. So in my class, I'm making some tea, that's the sound. I talk a lot about, I don't like being a stickler about brushes, but I do think that people, it's a good idea for them to understand what a synthetic brush does, what a bristle brush does, working with the biggest brush possible, all that. It's just understanding your tools, because I'm not so much someone who does stuff about technique. I'm not so much someone who does stuff about like high-end color theory. I'm really trying to train myself to be direct, to use the least amount of strokes in the beginning. I mean, that's the game. Using the least amount of strokes, understanding what your brush does, trying to pick a brush that works in this situation, trying to use the prettiest color possible. So I'll show you my quick little demo, because, you know, the first day you're talking about setting up a still life. People are choosing what they're gonna paint. So we're talking about how they're gonna close in on something. And some people, like, oh my gosh, a few people had never painted from life before. So it's really exciting to be a part of that. And, you know, and then I talked a lot about images, and then my demo, I'm gonna say my demo was maybe just a little bit over an hour, you know, because I talk a lot when I demo. So much of it is trying not to say too much in the beginning, because it can be very, very difficult to absorb just too much information. But this is my simple demo. And of course I got way too ambitious. I'm doing a big demo, but that's okay. That's all right. It's good. It's good to, like, you know, yeah, it's good. I didn't want to just do a tiny little demo. Talked about how you do a unit measurement to figure out where the object is in the space, you know, little units, how to measure it out. And primarily it was about using a bristle brush, a satin brush, synthetic is what I mean, and just not mixing color too much on the palette, putting it down direct. And today we're probably going to work more on apples and onions, or probably a little bit more of those carnations. But gosh, everybody's done so well. I just love seeing what they're doing. And I'll show you some more progress, but it's really hard to film and teach at the same time to show, you know, what's going on. It just is, you know, you get overwhelmed, and you just need to give all your attention to people, you know. But I'm having fun, and I'm so excited the class is finally here. So far, here's my demo, and it has not gotten very far. I have been talking so much that the demo hasn't gotten very far. I swear. I think I also have performance anxiety. So when I'm demoing, I think, boy, this must be boring to people. So I'm like, oh, you know, Anyways, I'm going to work just a tiny bit tonight because honestly, I think I worked for like maybe just an hour today, and I want to get a little bit further. I just don't want this demo to be like completely, totally unfinished. So today I am going to paint for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then walk around the class and help them for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. This way the class pretty much gets to paint all day long if they want to, but then they can come watch me a little bit. The reason why I'm doing this is I just feel like there's no way I'm gonna be able to even get some of that to the right done and be able to paint the little orange and the teacup and another carnation. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Look, and I got my inspiration just above my still life. And for sure, I'm gonna have to come back this weekend and work on this. But I'm excited, and I'm just so excited about, I just can't tell you how excited. I must have like at least 6 different convenient greens. And thank God companies are making those now. I mean, oh, look at this. I'm all, like yellow, 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 blue, 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 you know. And I even have more. I have more greens that I hadn't even put out yet. So I'm gonna get my palette ready, get everything ready, and then just let the students in. I got the teacup and the bear blocked in. Haven't really figured out what I'm gonna do up there. Get this area situated, put that carnation in, and just tweak it a little bit. And then, oh, I wanna do this stuff over here. I might add another carnation and put the vine of that branch. Hi. Oh, Theo. Theo. I wanted to show my baby Theo. Oh, you're so cuddly. Look at his eye. Everything's okay. It's just mommy squeezing and hugging you. They love to be in here when I'm on the computer, aren't you? And sometimes they sit up on this table and they walk back and forth, or sometimes they just sit and stare at me and say, why are you on the computer? Why are you not feeding me? Anyways, it's Saturday after the 5-day Still Life workshop, and overall, it was a great experience. I mean, everybody was so wonderful, so nice. Really boosts your spirits to paint with people and paint with people who are appreciative. And I mean, I started this fig. I organized, or I started the Still Life workshop in January. It's June 14th now, and I wanted to give myself like 6 months to, well, I had deadlines and all that other stuff. So you have to get through all that other stuff, but like just to have like this goal to practice little sketches, to get an idea of what I want to paint, what I want to say. And I learned so much. I think that happens, you know, you just jump in a little bit, like you jump off a cliff. And what I mean by that is that I kind of, yeah, you just learn so much. Like, what am I going to demo? How am I going to structure the demos? How am I going to structure the day? Because even though the workshop was like in my own territory, like my own space, it still was just exhausting, right? So as a teacher, I mean, Scott doesn't want to teach anymore. He really doesn't. He literally tells people he doesn't teach anymore. Yet he comes with me pretty much on all my workshops. And I say it's co-teaching because he can't help but talk and help, you know, give advice, or when we both demo, explain what he's doing. And, you know, I guess he just doesn't like that pressure of knowing that his name is the teacher and that he feels obligated. It just goes better, meaning he's there and he helps, but he doesn't like the pressure of it. So I think just having that little bit of technicality helps him so much. I'm very, very, very interested in getting better at Still Life, being much more direct. I mean, years and years ago, I did Still Life, and I look back at some of them and I think, okay, they're not that bad, but yeah, I guess my point is that I want to be more direct and not worry so much about does this look like it's supposed to? Does it look real? I want to be more poetic in my art. And so I think
I don't know, I'm hoping like a year from now, I'll just be so proud of myself. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. And yeah, I have another still life class at the end of September, and it's going to be similar, but yet tweaked just a little bit different. Just a little bit different, and I can't wait for that. So now I have the next 3 months to be working towards that. I started a big demo, and it's not done, but I kind of want to tweak it or work on it a little bit. And then what I do, or what I'm doing, even when I work from references or figurative work, is like when you're pretty much 90% done with the painting, I don't look at the reference anymore. I am not going to look at the still life anymore. I'm just going to look at the painting as a painting. And that's when I might have to sacrifice. And so that was some of the discussion I had in this class too, is, when you have multiple objects in a piece, it is the idea that even if something is so wonderful that you want to paint that's in the background, it should be a little bit out of focus, but yet you've been painting it for, you're putting all your energy into it, and it becomes kind of, you're happy with it, but then it's too detailed, it's too refined, and people are looking there first and not looking at the focal point that it should be. And can you, as an artist, I mean, for lack of a better word, destroy it? And that is, I think it's tricky to do. It is a rite of passage, I think. I was telling one of my students in class that I remember very, very early on, and I'm talking like the very first year or two of doing portraits and doing portraits from life when I was like 19, 20. And, it was just so difficult for me to paint from life, that the energy and time that I put into trying to study, how do I paint this eye? How do I get down? It was just too much in my brain. And maybe I knew that, it's kind of mediocre, right? But I just wanted to keep putting energy into it to make it better. I had this idea that just putting more energy into something, was a sign of diligence, a sign of, integrity, which is interesting in art, right? But there was this female artist who was just very, just so talented and expressive. And I think about halfway through, after an hour and a half, she just didn't like it, and she washed it off and started again. And I still have this visceral moment of like witnessing that, and having this duality of, I'm so in awe, impressed, jealous that she had that freedom. And here I am, like tethered to this sort of mediocre painting. I just didn't have the skills to understand, to know how to start over again, to take what I just did, try and do it again, and just do it simple. Not do, really over model everything, but how do I make things simple? The biggest shapes, the biggest forms, editing is the magical word for art painting, is edit. And a lot of what this workshop thoughts and questions come up is like, and I get this with portrait too, there is inevitably, it comes up every day. How do you take something further? How would you take this demo further? Oh, how would you finish that? How would you finish that? And I don't think that they understand what they're asking. In their mind, they're like, well, how would you, take that to a point where you put a frame on it and sell it? And I want people to truly try and absorb that the idea and the way I want to paint, the type of art that I am so impressed by, like Kwong and Richard Schmidt and George Carlson, it's like I'm trying to create a haiku and not a novel. So the idea is that you do lots and lots and lots of starts, or what we call block-ins, and it's trying to figure out what is just the right amount, just the right amount. And it's not okay, you do the block-in, and then all of a sudden, the next step is to do the refinement and the noodling and the little delicate strokes, and how would you do it from that to sketch to refinement? It's like, it comes with time as you get better with the editing, knowing what to leave out, because what you leave out is so pleasing. People really appreciate it. Like, in all honesty, there's almost too much information in our world. There's too much coming at us that when we see something that is just enough, it is, I think people are drawn towards it. Well, and that's the kind of that $1 million question. And how do you express it to a student? Because I'm still trying to figure it out, right? But how do you express it to a student and have them not be disappointed because there's not some magic sauce that you can tell them? Because the more that you're a perfectionist, the more it weighs down your artwork. I've seen it in my work. I see it in Scott's work. Whenever he's unhappy with his work, it's because he wanted so badly to get some effect, and somehow he's working, experimenting, and it passes the tipping point, and he should have left it earlier, but he kept thinking that something was going to be better around the bend, right? And until it gets so painful, until it gets, you know, to where you get so disappointed with yourself, you know, everybody almost has to hit a rock bottom until you then go, I am not going to do that again. I'm going to stop earlier. How do I do that? Everyone has their tricks, but that was a lot about what this class is. And I think still life, to be honest, unless you're teaching a very, very just academic, you know, still life course, a lot of it is about who you are, what you choose to paint, how you choose to diffuse areas, where you're leading me. And people get really self-conscious because, and I do too, but, you know, get self-conscious about like, well, I don't know what to paint. I don't know how to set up a still life. And so that's going to be a goal of mine the next few months until the next class, how to navigate that lesson plan. And then I think, you know, we have some trips and some other things. And then I think I'm going to do an online still life course in January, February. And I'm excited about that because, to be truly honest, I think it is a great idea for people to possibly watch me paint something, like the exact object, painting something. And then for the exercise for the students is you try and practice the same brush things that I do, the approach. And then I can give you an assignment. You know, it can be very, very simple like that. Basic still life, a little intermediate, and it gets harder and harder as the class goes on. And then obviously probably like the last step in the online class would be, now I want you to set up something very similar, maybe light direction, maybe light color choices, and then you set it up, and then you take a photo, and then we can discuss that through the online part, you know. I'm also thinking that sometimes, a lot of times, people are much more comfortable painting in their own environment. And I get that, you know, when you're traveling and you have a facade and everything's a little bit compact. This is a long talk, but I wanted to express a little bit about the class, how grateful I was. I feel like it really charged me. I feel like now I'm just want to keep that momentum going. But no, I'm excited about art. And thank you for coming with me on this journey. And I really love hearing where you guys are from. I love hearing if anything I've said has helped you out. I love hearing suggestions about if anything you want me to talk about. Until the next video, and thank you for watching. And I'll have to find my kitties. Oh, he was sleeping on the floor over here. So, bye.
Fig, are you interested in attacking my chive? I really had to keep him off this table when I had this whole table full of lettuce and I was trying to dry it. And he wanted to be the lettuce thief, right? You would grab a piece and you'd try and run off. Didn't you? Didn't you? You look so innocent. What would you possibly do with this? Oh my gosh, you're so funny. I've had a few days to rest and I've been working on computer stuff, editing some more videos, and Scott leaves in 2 days for another trip. And I'm coming down to my studio, pretty much left everything the way it was, right? I still have all those carnations. So I invited my friend Sharon and I thought, We need to paint these before, I mean, they last forever, but we need to paint them. I'm gonna show you how far I got with my demo. Okay, I just measured it. I have to remember this stuff. It is 17 inches by 30 stretched. I'll probably have Scott make me a little photo frame, especially since his building is coming. Well, it was supposed to come this week, but we've been having so much rain that it's gonna come next week. And of course, I have to finish stuff. But yeah, this was the demo. Today, I am going to really just, you know, these flowers need to be painted. Thank you for being so beautiful, carnations. I think I'm gonna stand here and use that spotlight and just rearrange stuff. Try to make it simple. Maybe I'll have some oranges, onions, or apples in there. But this is going to be a celebration of carnations today. And I brought a couple different canvases. I brought a 12 by 16 ampersand board that I toned with gray. And I also bought a senso 16 by 20. Now I'm trying to paint for frames that I already have because I have a frame cemetery, as you guys all know. I also have a 12 by 24. I'm just gonna set it up. Oh, 12 by 24, and even the 16 by 20 is ambitious for me. I really only want this to be no more than 2 days. So I might just do the 12 by 16 and set something up right here and have a really strong light source. Okay, gonna do that before Sharon gets here. I'm gonna do this setup, 12 by 16. And I'm using this pochade just for ease and being able to kind of maneuver it in here. And I'm also gonna have my other open palette right here. You see a little bit of the fluorescence, which can be annoying, honestly. I was here on a few days ago, and this was all the paint that was left. So I'm just gonna take time. These are the times when you wish you had a elf or an assistant, because now I'm gonna have to go and make sure all this paint, if there's any sort of film, clean it up. I don't like seeing all this stuff here on my palette, so a lot of times what I do is I take off any sort of film and then I move that color into the middle, and then I take my razor blade and I clean it off because this is glass, and then I put that color back. This can be a good 20 minutes. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Sharon still hasn't gotten here. That's my simple little setup, and I'm just gonna put some music on and clean my palette. And yeah, sometimes I have to like move around the studio, or else what you could do is I have had these type of palettes on a tripod so that I could tilt it. I actually do. I have a bigger version of this that has a camera screw, you know, on the other side, and if you have a sturdy tripod, I can have it at an angle. Yeah, I'm gonna look for it. It's into there somewhere. This is the back of my studio. And so the mama cat and the kittens were so scared of us. They didn't even like being in that house that Scott put on the other side of, in that little fenced in area. So Scott put it in here because Scott was noticing that the kittens, he thought that they're living in these wood piles, like, because there's like a big, almost like a pit, like an impression. And I think bunnies live in there, and there's so much deer. There's a lot of deer, but here's the house. So he's hoping that, so we put food in here and water in here every day. But it's sad because I don't get to see the kittens at all. I just hope they're okay. It's so interesting that kittens and mama cat, you know, having such a good thing going with food and shelter, you know, even on the other side of our house, and just wants to take off. Just won't stick around. It's very sad. So we still haven't gotten that building. Scott was cutting some of this down because they're gonna have to drive over our yard. And it's like a big semi brings it, and then a smaller kind of truck will put it on a platform and then drive it over our yard, and it's gonna have to come through here. Oh, actually, I think it's gonna come through here. And so Scott cut some of this down, and he might have to cut a few trees right there, and then go over and then place it just to the right of Scott's studio. And all we need is have the electrician come and have it hooked, electricity from that building hooked to Scott's, and we'll have a whole new workshop, which is going to be amazing. I'm so excited to get a lot of the shipping and packing stuff out of Scott's studio. That will be a pleasant thing to have. I just wanted to show you. I haven't seen the kittens today or yesterday at all, not even the mama cat, so I don't know what they're doing. Now, that little sketch that I did, this is, I just kind of gave it a little bit of retouch. I don't know if this will show up. So this was kind of, I'm just practicing a lot of block-ins, and I'll probably touch this up, but I mean, I'm not worried too much about, let's say, this is what I feed the kitties in. I put a whole bunch of dry food and then go dump in a bowl in that other, you know, I'm just practicing block-ins. I have to go through that lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of them. So just wanted to show you that this was that sketch that I did with Sharon. And I'm touching up other things in my home studio today. I brought this demo home, and so now I'm going to touch it up. It will never be a super refined painting. I want it to keep it kind of brushy, but of course I'm going to fiddle with it and refine certain areas, especially around here in the teacup. I'm going to add some more flowers there. But this is what it looks like in my home studio. So I think the colors come out a little bit better. I think my downtown studio with the fluorescence, yeah, it really wasn't that great. But I'm excited to work on it. Happy to be painting at home. So I'll show you what happens in progress. You're a very good Theo. Yes, you are. Meg loves you so much. You're so yummy. Look at this yummy tummy. Of course I would want to sleep on this yummy tummy also. Aww. Hi, sweetie Theo. You can keep licking Fig. I just wanted to show everybody how beautiful you are. Yeah. Big body pillow. Hi, Fig. Are you playing with my blankets? Do you want me to get up and feed you breakfast? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? You're saying Daddy always wakes up super early and feeds you. And it's probably 6:30 right now, and it's way too late, right? Oh my God. Hey. You're not gonna let me sleep anymore, are you? Theo says, what's going on? You guys are like, this is not my schedule. I love how big your eyes are. Okay, Fig. And you're stuck to my blankets now. Okay, okay. Bye. Each workshop, Scott and I bring sketches. And here are just some of the sketches that were sold to students. Now, these are all done in the idea of block-in or demo or practicing color combinations. I did a video of this one to show people my process of painting onions. And I'm just so appreciative. If it wasn't for people like helping us out and buying these sketches that wouldn't normally go to galleries, we wouldn't be able to keep doing this. So heartfelt thank you. I just wanted to show a few of these because sometimes I don't post these on Instagram or Facebook, and I've just been so into still lifes recently. This is what 3 of the sketches look like. The other ones went off with the people who bought them.
Sometimes it's hard to see scale or color. You know, no matter how hard you try, it's really difficult to get the best color, especially when there's a lot of strong yellows and reds. This particular one right here, this one over here, was a much bigger painting that I had cut down. So I had worked on a much bigger and then just sort of cropped in on this part. That happens a lot. That's why I like working on either loose canvas or the canvas that's put on like a foam core gator board that you can cut easily. If it's on one of those really strong boards, oh my gosh, then you feel like you're stuck with that size. I like doing this so that you just like a certain part of a painting. Okay, there you go. Just wanted to show. The last 2 drawings that I did are here. This is a white pastel, white chalk on a black paper, and I made up the branches and the bird, and I was a little nervous about that, but I was excited about putting animals in. And then this is just a bigger charcoal, I think it's a 40 by 26, holy cow. But those are the last 2 drawings I've done for a while. This is the last video that Scott and I have edited. This is a painting that Scott spent a lot of time on. So this video is all about brushwork and advanced brushwork, which people are very interested in. This will be a video on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching.